Okay, now we've talked about the modes, the 7 modes, major or Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, minor or Aeolian, and Locrian. Now what I want to talk about, the next thing is the formulas, how to make these scales, okay? Now the formula is actually a pretty easy thing to discover. And what it is just the pattern of whole steps and half steps that each individual mode has. So for example, the major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, starts out C to D is a whole step. And this is, again, a lot easier to see on the piano. But C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step, F to G, whole step, G to A, whole step, A to B, whole step, B to C is a half step. Okay, don't get confused yet. It's not that big a deal. But the formula is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, that's the formula for a major scale. Now, using that formula, you can take that formula and start on any note and create any major scale. So for example, if we started on a D, we would have D whole step to E whole step, F sharp half step, G whole step, A whole step, B whole step, C sharp, and half step D. Now, guitar players kind of have an advantage in that we learn one scale and we can just move it up 2 frets to D, and then we have a D scale. But it's always important to know what notes you're playing, especially on electric guitar. I think that's a real big priority, is to know your fretboard up and down, inside out, backwards and forwards. On keyboards, it's a little bit more difficult, and so that formulaic kind of way of thinking, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, with a major scale, makes it a little easier to kind of create those scales, okay? But on guitar, again, we can cheat a little bit. But I'd love for you to be able to see those whole steps and half steps as they lay out across the fretboard, okay? So the major scale, again, is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, okay? Now let's do the D Dorian scale. So the next scale, the next mode after the major was Dorian. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Okay, so that's D to E, whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole. Okay, whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this without messing up, but anyway, you get the idea. Okay, so the formula for a Dorian is whole, half, whole, 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 half, whole. All right. Now, the next scale would be Phrygian. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay? Okay? And that starts with a half step. And then a whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Okay? And then the next scale. Again, now the great thing about this is that you can take that formula and now you can create any kind of Lydian scale. If you want to create a G Lydian scale, again, it's whole, it starts with a half, whole, 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 half, whole, whole. Start with the G Lydian scale, start with a half, and then whole, 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 half, whole. Okay, and that's a very Phrygian thing to do. Okay, now the next scale after E Phrygian was F Lydian. Okay, and that's whole, 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 half, whole, whole, half. Okay, G Mixolydian, it starts with a whole, whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole. It's very, very much like a major scale. If you listen to the G Mixolydian scale, it sounds like a G major scale until you get to that 7th degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then the next one would be A minor, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and that's whole step, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Okay, and if I applied that to say B minor, I would get B to whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Okay, and that would create a B minor scale. All right. Now we've got one more. The B Locrian. Okay, again, this is kind of the theoretical mode, and that would be B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Kind of the funny thing about the Locrian scale is that it wants to keep going. It wants to resolve on the C chord, but that's not what it's about. It's all about that lack of resolution. So that kind of creates a neat sounding mode. And the formula for the B Locrian, or any Locrian, okay, this is important here. It's true for all Locrian scales. It's going to be half step, whole, whole, half, whole, whole, whole. Okay. BC is a half, CD is a whole, DE is a whole, EF is a half, FG is a whole, GA is whole, and AB is a whole. Okay, and then back to C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? These will all be in the blog as well, so you'll be able to kind of look at them and see what the patterns that develop. You'll see some diagonal lines going across the page as you line up all the formulas, the whole steps and half steps for all 7 modes. Okay? God bless you guys, and take care.